My name is Endavar, and this is Surviving with Mekanism. Well, last time we got the digital miner crafted up and running, and that has meant we have got an absolute ton of resources. And I don't think I showed last time how I was processing these. I've got an advanced logistical transporter on the back of here, taking the items out, and they're just going into these chests. But there's no clever sorting going on here. We don't have a logistical sorter on the back of here. All I've done is fill up these chests so there's only certain items can go into it, and then when we get more in, they'll just go into the ones that they can, and if there's nowhere for them to go, it'll just stay in here. So that's what I've done for now. But as this digital miner is pretty much done now, I can get rid of this and move it around somewhere. But what I've also done is crafted up another two between episodes, and as we saw last time, these things are quite expensive, but I'm going to put these to good use. So the problem I have now is because I'm not going to have them in my base, I can't instantly pipe them where I want them to go. So there is an item in Mekanism that is going to allow us to take items from it and send them wirelessly, but also allow us to send the power wirelessly as well. And that is something called a quantum entangleporter. Now these things are even more expensive, so it's the ultimate control circuits, atomic alloys, refined obsidian, and more of the teleportation cores. So I have been busy between episodes, and I went to the end and I got a ton of ender pearls, but I also got a ton of obsidian as well from the towers. I've turned a lot of that into refined obsidian, used that to create some atomic alloys, and also to create the refined obsidian ingots as well. So if we just grab a few of these expensive things, and I'm also going to need some ender pearls as well. What else was it? A few diamonds. I think it was gold, wasn't it? Gold is something I'm also struggling for as well, so I think the Nether is going to be somewhere where I'm going to do a little bit of mining. So let's do firstly some of the teleportation cores. We'll do 4, and then can I do 4 of these? No, I can't. So let's grab 3 of those. What we've got missing? More of those. Not a problem. So you do need to do more than one of these because you need one to send and one to receive, but you can use them for liquids, gases, power, and items all through the same one as well. So what we can do is if we get rid of this, we can use this same setup that we've got here. Now, I'm probably going to move this around a bit, but we'll just have it on show for now so we can see what's happening. So if we set this thing down, we need to set a frequency so we can sync them all up together. So firstly, let's do one for mining, and we can use that to send the power and receive the items. So let's do that like that. Now, if I was going to have a separate one for power and items, I could use the 2 pairs that I've got, and I could have the power down near the power generation and have this one up here to send the items out. But I'm not going to do that because I've got a power cable up here anyway. I can just connect this up if I've got any more. Do I have any more? There we go. And one more of those. Didn't plan that, but we've got exactly what we need there. So let's put that on the back of there and that one there. So we just need to configure this to send the power and also receive the items. So like with any of the other machines, we just need to go into the side config, and we'll do the energy first, and this one is the input. We'll can turn everything else off. So that's that done for the power. For the items, we need to make sure that the back is the output and eject is on, and again just turn everything else off. So that is done. What we can do now is set this up somewhere else, and we are going to need some more cables. We'll go somewhere, and we've got the power cables. So let's just take that back, and we can go set this up in the Nether, I believe. And I also want to craft up an anchor upgrade. So we need a couple of bits for this, but diamond dust is the most expensive thing, so that's nice and easy, isn't it? Take a couple of those, and glass, wasn't it? So let's take in the crusher, let's put one of those in there, and then now we should be able to craft that. And what this does is basically keeps the chunk that a machine is in loaded. So it's not going to keep the whole area loaded, but one chunk should be enough for now. So let's go give this a go. So I also moved my nether portal into here as well, so I have to keep running outside. And we might as well do it just in this spot here. So I normally like to dig out a little bit of a cave at the top. Doesn't really matter, as long as it's somewhere where you're not going to get loads of mobs attacking it, especially ghasts. So if we just do this up here, and this is a crimson forest, so we'll probably get piglins up here at some point. So all we need to do, once I've got a big enough area, is we can take one of our digital miners, and let's use the one that we've already had configured. So stick that down there, and then with this we just need to change the config, and I'm not sure if it's going to let me do this, but let's just try doing ancient debris like that. Is that right? No, that don't work, is it? Right, so I put ancient in there, and it seemed to finding deep slate. Right, I put netherite in this time, so there's probably a better way of doing it to just get ancient debris, but there's not going to be any netherite blocks anywhere. But if there are, I'll take them. So we'll set that to netherite. Now, this is already set to the maximum level. We want to put that to 0, and we can go right up to the top, and the nether is 128. We can then go back. We're going to turn off silk touch because it doesn't matter with ancient debris. So we'll leave that like that, and one auto eject on. Let's do this. So we're just going to need a little bit of space around the back so we can put these cables on. So we're going to put our logistical transporter like that. Oh, no, actually, let's just use the basic ones because we're not going to get tons of these. So if we just go there like that, let's just give ourselves a bit of space. And then we put that down there like that. I'm going to set this to the mining frequency. And now we need to make sure that for items, the input is on the top. Turn everything else off. And that will send everything back now. That is done. So all we need to do is receive the power from this. So if we put our ultimate universal cable down, my base won't be loaded now. So I need to set that up to load those chunks. If we just look at the side config for energy, so we just need to output the front, turn everything else off, and eject that. So that is now receiving power from there. It's probably not going to fill up because my base isn't loaded, but that should now work. So if we just click start on there, that's telling me that there's in that range, there's 20 blocks of ancient debris. So that is just going to send everything back into this quantum entangle porter, and that's going to go into my base. Now, obviously, that's not loads. It's not the greatest example, but what we can also do, if we get rid of that now, reset it, that was just so I could get the ancient debris. Now, if we go into the config and do quartz, actually, let's just do all ores for this. So do C ores, and that should get quartz ore and the gold ore as well. So let's do that. And if I'm going to put Silk Touch back on for this one, and then click start, we have 3,700 blocks to mine. So that's going into there. Right, so those blocks are still stuck in there because they don't have anywhere to go in my base, unless it's just unloaded now. Right, so that's why those are in there. But once I give them somewhere to go, those should start going through. So what I'm also going to do with this, now am I on a chunk border? I didn't check that, did I? Oh, I am. Well, that's annoying. Right, I'm going to redo this so it's in the same chunk. Right, so that's done now. So if I now put, this isn't working at the minute, so what I need to do is put that into there. So now when I go back to my base, this will all be loaded. So it's not going to do everything in the whole 32 block radius that I've assigned, but it should still do everything in this chunk, if I'm understanding how it works. So we're going to get plenty of gold and quartz out of this. So let's go back and see if this is working. Right, so those items don't have anywhere to go in here. So what I can do is, let's find one that's got less stuff in it. Probably the diamonds. Let's get that. And there we go. We can now see those items coming through. So it's a bit slow, but we have the 27 ancient debris, and now the quartz and the gold should start coming through as well. So that's great. So what I also want to do, let's have a look at the chunks. Where are we in here? Right, so we do have some power generated there, but I'm going to need to do a couple of. So I suppose what we could do is, I won't going to do this right now, but it's probably a good idea. So rather than just doing the anchor upgrade, what we can also do is craft this thing called the dimensional stabilizer. And if you provide this with enough power, this can load a lot more chunks. So I'm definitely going to want these, one of these in my base, but I'm also going to put this in the Nether as well, so this can keep going. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? So it is pretty expensive, but if we just get a few, some of those and some of those, and then we'll do a block of diamond like that. And now if we craft this, this should do the trick. So we'll just stick it over here for now. Now, well, right, so I'm in the middle of that chunk. So what we can do here, you need to put energy upgrades in this, but unlike all the other machines, that doesn't make it use less power. It just means you can load more chunks when you put the energy upgrades in. So, or hold more power anyway. So this will hold 16,000 FE at the minute, but we want it to hold more than that so we can load more. So this chunk I'm in at the minute will always be loaded, but I also want to do, right, so north is that way, so I want to go this way by 2 chunks, and then I want to go across one all the way. So I think that should do it. Right, so how's this doing? Is this actually bringing anything else through? It is. That's doing quite well, isn't it? Yeah, so that is still working, but I definitely want to get another one of these in the Nether, and then it'll be able to mine a lot more. So do I have any energy? I do have energy upgrades. Let's get some of those. Stick those in there, and that now holds 160,000 FE, so that's good. Right, so now, when we're away from the base and sending things back wirelessly, this should always be loaded, and all the power generation should be loaded as well, so that's still doing its thing and sending the power to the digital miners that we have out in other places. Right, so I've got another 2 quantum entangle porters, and we have 2 more digital miners, so I'm going to put one of them away, because I'm going to need another 2 of these to do anything with that. So I don't know what exactly I'm going to do with that yet, but we can set another one of these up somewhere else, more than 32 blocks away from here, and then we can basically mine a load more diamond, redstone, and all the other things going here. But I've actually decided to do something else, and I think it'll be quite interesting. So if we come out here, And it's raining. Of course it's raining. I'm not going to go outside, so it's raining. And what I'm thinking of doing is digging out a slime chunk with one of these. So I believe, if I've read my map right, that this chunk right here is a slime chunk. So what I want to do is, if we just mine this out of the way a little bit, I want to mine everything in this chunk. So it's not going to be dead on accurate, but if we put that pretty much in the middle, I think that's about there, isn't it? No, that's nowhere near. Let's try that again. Put you there. Is that about right? I think that's about right. Okay. So what we can do with this, we want to set this to 8 blocks. Or should we go a bit more? Because that'll do the whole chunk, but I want to go past it as well, don't we? So let's do 12. Our minimum Y level, want to go right down to the bottom of the world. And then we want to come right up to where we are now, which is Y80. So do that and that. Now, I don't think this will work without a filter. So yeah, I need to set a filter. But I know it's not got any power at the minute, but I think it'll still say if it's got what it can mine. So let's just do C stone. Or stone, sorry. Yeah, and that will mine everything in the world now, apart from the ores. So we can go mine the ores manually, but it will now mine out everything else. And it's going to take a really long time to do it. This is not going to be a quick thing. But if we just do that and click start, yeah, so it's 74,000 blocks it's going to mine out. So we'll do the energy upgrades in there and get the speed upgrades as well. Get those in there. And then all we need to do is power it and get it running. Right, so I've just done the exact same setup that I've got in the Nether, and we do have a few items bouncing back and forth, but I'll explain why that is in a minute. So we've got that mining already, and it's got 70,000 to go, so definitely got a few to do. So if this has items in it, when items get transferred to it, they'll bounce back because they've got nowhere to go. So what we need to do is make them come out as fast as possible at the other end. I have just done something to try and help that, but it's still a bit rubbish. And because we have the Nether stuff coming through here as well, they sometimes block it. So if you have a look at there, that says the Nether gold ore, so that's why stuff's bouncing back. But I've just been to check on the one in the Nether, and that is pretty much there now. So I think if I set any more of these up, I'll give them their own quantum entangler portals and we'll do it separately. But I think despite that, it's still going pretty well. We're not getting a lot of stuff backed up. So if you just have a look behind me, this is what's happening so far. So the dirt, I didn't get this to mine dirt. I just dug this out manually with my atomic disassembler. And the way these things work is they will pick a chunk and do the whole chunk and then move on to the next one. So if we turn the chunk borders on, it's not doing the main chunk that I want digging, it's doing it a little bit at the side. So we've got it to come this far, and it's just picked this little slice here, and it's going to go all the way down to the level offset, which is -64. So if we just jump down here, it's definitely doing the trick, and I've had to dirt out some water as well, so that's what these bits are here. We do have a water cave in there, so we're going to have to deal with that as well, but it's leaving all of the ores because those aren't part of the filter, so I can come down here and fortune all these out myself, and unfortunately dripstone isn't part of it as well, so I'm going to have to do this manually, or I can set it in there as well, but it's not so much of a big deal. So we're getting into the deep slate now, and it's digging right down here, and obviously it's the cave, and it's a few nasties in there, but it's not too bad. So this has actually gone pretty quickly, but I'm getting things shooting at me, so I'm going to get out. So, and I will fortune all this out as well, or I suppose I could just, after it's finished, get 10 tilt touch on and get it to mine all the ores as well. But I think this is something that we're just going to have to leave here for quite a long time, let it do its thing, but we're almost down to 70,000 now, so I can leave that there. But let's just have a look at a couple of things I've done inside to try and help this out a little bit. So I did just have a power issue, which I haven't had yet so far, so they are getting there now. Yeah, they're pretty much back where they were, but the problem was the biofuel wasn't coming in, and it looks like we're still struggling. So yeah, using all that power, even though I'm only using one of them on Silk Touch and one of them not. Is this keeping up as well? Probably not. Oh my, yeah, that's not keeping up at all, is it? Anyway, how are we doing over here? So I've just upgraded the crusher into the ultimate crushing factory, and we don't have anything in there at all, and I've got it all automatically piped and going into there. So yeah, this farm, even though it looked great at first and I was generating loads of stuff, I think I'm going to have to upgrade it. Maybe do another one or do something else. Maybe get the zombie spawner going and do the rotten flesh. I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. But once that one is finished in the Nether, we're not going to be using as much power because that's the only one using Silk Touch. And not using Silk Touch, I think they only use like 5,000 FE per tick, whereas the Silk Touch ones use 100,000. So it's a massive difference. But anyway, what we've done here, the other end of the quantum entangler portal, rather than piping it straight out, I've got it going into this chest, just in case there's nowhere for it to go. So I've wired up all of these bins as well. So we have ultimate logistical transporters on the back now going into all these, and I'm not sending it into the chest anymore because they're all getting a bit confused. So we've got all the quartz and the gold ore that we got from the nether, that's been coming into here, and then all the stuff that we're digging out now, this is going into here automatically as well. They are coming through quite slowly actually, so maybe I need to get the ultimate logistical transporters on the back of that, but they are coming through anyway. So now we've got all that coming in automatically, I think what we're going to need to do is beef up the storage, are we? And I'm not going to do that with these things. It would be nice if I could, but what I'm going to do instead is the main goal for this episode, and that is to do this thing, the QIO driver array. And it's basically Mekanism's version of digital storage. So it's called Quantum Item Orchestration. And these things are surprisingly straightforward. I always thought you had to get into like the reactors to be able to craft these, but you don't. And the reason I thought that is, if we look at the QIO drives, these things here, we have the simple one, which is still quite expensive because it's 4 of the ultimate control circuits, but it doesn't require any reactor stuff. We can do all this as we are now. Same for the drive array. It's just a personal chest, a few teleportation cores, and yeah, a little bit expensive, but it's doable. And then we also need the QIO dashboard, which again, this is even easier. So the reason I thought you need the reactors is because the higher end stuff you do. So for the next level of the drive, we need plutonium pellets. Next one after that, we need plutonium pellets and a polonium pellet. And then for the supermassive QIO drive, which holds a ridiculous amount of stuff, we need antimatter, and this is a crazy thing on its own. So we are going to get to this stage at some point, but for now, we can just craft a few of these, the lower level ones, and individually they hold 16,000 items and 128 different types. So it holds double the types of AE2, and the best thing about this is, which I didn't believe at first, is that it doesn't require any power at all, which I found really strange because Mekanism is mainly known for its crazy power generation and machines that use absolutely tons of power. So for its storage system to not use any power at all, I think is a bit mad. But I'm not going to complain, so we'll get some of these ultimate control circuits, and we're going to need to do a few of all the other levels as well, aren't we? And we can start crafting this thing, so I'm not entirely sure what we need. Let's just grab all the expensive stuff, because it's probably going to be that. We need ender pearls. Oh, we need some gold. I need to process some gold there, but I don't think I've got any. Oh no, I've got this stuff now, it's nice. So I can fortune this and get that done, so we'll definitely grab some of that. But firstly, let's see what we can do. So let's do a few of the teleportation cores. 4 will do. So need some glass panes and a few more ender pearls. Oh no, that's my personal chest. I don't do that, right? Oh, I'm glad that doesn't work. Right, so let's grab you and try that again. So that again is my personal chest, so I'll have that one. Put the empty one in there, and that gives us the QIO driver, which is brilliant. Now you can just put this anywhere. You don't need to have it connected to anything. You don't, and as I say, you don't need to power it, but it is nice to be able to see it. So let's put that on there because it's a pretty cool looking thing. And then what we need to do is put the drives into here. And should we put a fancy block above there? What we've got? Let's have some steel, and I'm going to put a crafting bench down here. Even though you can use it for crafting, it is a little bit clunky. So I like to have just a normal crafting table to hand as well. So let's get a steel block, stick you there, and then what we also need to craft is the QIO dashboard. So for this, another teleportation core, or out of gold as well. Right, let's get some gold on the go. Right, so for the dashboard, let's get one of you. I've got any lead. That's good. Alright, I've got a little bit. Dashboard. And we can put this anywhere. It doesn't need to be connected to this. We just need to link it and put it on the same frequency. So we can just stick that there. And then we need to set the frequency. So in here, click on set frequency. And we'll just call this Endavar. Perfect name. And then on here, we'll do the same thing. We can go on there, click set. And now these two are linked together. So it doesn't have anywhere to store anything at the minute, so I can't put anything in it. It'll just put it into the crafting window. So we need to craft a drive. So for these, we can only do the smallest ones, as we've just seen. So I need another ultimate control circuit. Actually, I think I need another one of those. Yeah, let's get another one. And what was it? Lead. Yeah, more lead. So finally, we can get our QIO drive. And if we put that into here, it can hold 12 of them. And it can hold quite a lot, even these smaller ones. So that is it. So now we should we can put things into here now, so we can just start dumping everything into it. So I'm not going to do everything that comes out manned automatically into here, because that's just asking for trouble. So I'm going to keep everything in there like that. And the problem is with this, I don't think there's a way of accessing external storage. We do have other things. We have importers and exporters, and a redstone adapter. That's just to show you the levels of things. But we can import things into the drives and export from them as well. But I don't think, like in A2, like having a storage bus or the external storage, there isn't a way of doing that, I don't think. So all I tend to do when I've used this in the past is just put a load of cobble and a load of deep slate in, just a little bit every now and then, just so I've got enough for crafting. But that means now that anything in all these chests, I can just dump into there, and it's much easier when it comes to crafting. I don't need to go and find it in the appropriate chest. So might as well do that now. Let's get all the expensive stuff out here, dump it all in there, and this is going to make my life so much easier. So let's not do that with that personal chest, because that's the one I want, I think. No, it's not. Oh, that's the one I want. So you go with, and this is going to be so much better. Right, so I can now start dumping things into here. Also, I'll get all this moved, everything that's in all these chests, and probably a lot of these as well. I can get that in there, and then we can move on to the next thing. Right, so there we go. We hardly have any chests in here now. Everything has been put into here. As you can see, I have quite a lot of stuff. And I have been processing a few things as well. I've got a load of lead going because I've been using a bit of that. And the main thing is the infused alloy. I've got an absolute ridiculous amount of these now, so hopefully that should come in handy later on and make things a little bit easier. But as you can see, these things are going up quite fast now. I've got a lot of stuff in here. And yeah, the good news is that first little slice of that chunk on the edge is now done for the slime chunk, and it is now moved on to the main chunk in the middle. So if we have a look down here, this is going very well. So there was a huge water cave down here, so I did have to follow it down and gravel a lot of it out, but that's all done now, and everything below here should be a little bit more straightforward, aside from the mobs that are going to come up, because there's probably going to be a lot of them in there. Look at them all in the fancy armor. Anyway, I'll leave them to it. But yeah, this is going well, and it definitely is a slime chunk, because at this point here they can actually spawn, and I have seen a few of them. I did get a few slime balls from them, so I'm happy that this is definitely a slime chunk. So we just need to get this all the way down. Look at all these diamonds and stuff down here. This is great. So yeah, I'm going to get all these mined out as well. I was planning on doing it manually, but I think I'll just get the digital miner to do it. Once it's finished mining out all the stone, I can just switch over to mining ores, and we'll get all them done as well. Right, so that is just going to continue and do its thing. Everything is piped straight into the storage area, so I don't need to worry about this. I can just leave it to do its thing. I don't think there's any more like water or lava to remove, so we'll just leave it to do its thing, and I can fix it up later if I need to. But the next thing I want to have a look at is how we're going to start processing, not the ores, but everything else we get. So everything in here has all been condensed from the few chests that we had before. So what I want to do with the ores, so I have split them up. So these are the ones that obviously don't need smelting. So this is just diamonds, redstone, lapis, coal, and then the ones from Mekanism that's the same as that is the fluorite. So once we fortune these, we'll get the diamond, and that's it. There's nothing else to do with it from there. But with these, in Mekanism, you can process these in a few different ways and get a lot more from them. So as we've already seen, if we put any of these ores into an enrichment chamber, we get double these. So the way it used to work in Mekanism, before we could fortune these ores, you just put this ore block into an enrichment chamber and you'd get 2 of the dust that you could then smelt up. So that's where you're doubling your money. But as we've already seen, if we do it with the raw ore, we put 3 in and we get 4 of the dust out. So we get a little bit more. But when we're fortuning these, we do get more. So I've just tested that actually. I took 9 osmium ore and I fortuned them and I got 18 of the raw ore. So I doubled it, but then when I put them through the enrichment chamber, that was 24. So if I'd put those 9 into an enrichment chamber, I would have got 18 dust and then ingots, obviously. But because I did it fortune and then enriching, that gave me more. So I'm convinced that that is the way to go. But with Mekanism, we can do more than that as well. So there is the next step. We can actually double the raw ore as well. And that used to be the ore tripling way, but now it doubles the raw ore. So that is one of the things that we're going to do, and I think I will get that set up next time. But what I want to look at to finish this episode off is the stuff we've got in here. So what we're going to do with this, I did have the plan of fortuning all of this as well, like I'm going to do with the others, but I think it's actually going to work out better, or pretty much the same, if I just enrich this stuff. So if we have a look at this, if we enrich redstone ore, we get 12 redstone dust out of it, and I think that is better than fortuning it. The diamonds, you get 2, which is the average from fortuning. It is possible, I believe, to get 4 diamonds if you fortune 3 on diamond ore, but it's quite unlikely, and over time, it normally averages around 2. So I'm quite happy to put all the diamond ore into the enrichment chamber, and we can get 2 diamonds from each of them. That'll do for me. The coal, I believe, is the same. So yeah, you get 2 from that, and to be honest, I think that's better. I've always found that you tend to get slightly less than 2 on average. So getting 2 from that, I'm happy with that. And the lapis is crazy as well. I think you get 12 from that as well. Yeah, so that'll definitely do for me. And the fluorite, we've got so much of it, and you just get an absolutely ridiculous amount of this stuff. And I don't need that much of it. So I'm alright with that. I think what I'm going to do with this is just set up an enrichment chamber, send all this stuff into it, and then we can just pipe everything back into here. So actually, yeah, let's do that now. I have actually crafted up a few enrichment chambers because I am going to need them to craft up a couple of things. So if we have a look at the uses of the enrichment chamber, we can turn it into a purification chamber. And with this is the next level thing that I was talking about. So if we take the raw osmium, we can turn it into 2 osmium clump. A crusher will turn that into dirty osmium dust, and then that'll turn into enrichment chamber. But this is basically the process we're going to set up next time. But it's slightly more difficult than that, because to do this first step, we also need oxygen as well, which we do know how to do because we've been dumping loads of oxygen as a byproduct from getting the hydrogen. And then the other thing, if we craft it into purification chamber, we can take that and turn it into the chemical injection chamber. And this is a very handy item, which I am going to use very soon to do this exact process here. So with steam or water vapor, I can take grey concrete powder and just turn it into grey concrete. So there's none of the vanilla way of placing it down in water and then manning it up again. We can just put it into this machine with water vapor, which we can just get from putting water into this machine called a rotary condensator, and that will turn it into water vapor, and then we can use that in here to turn concrete powder into concrete. So I'm definitely going to be doing that, and we could also use it to get mud as well. That'd be quite handy. But to finish off today, I'm just going to do the enriching of all the redstone and diamonds. So let's go get that set up. So I do have some upgrades in here, so just have 8 each of those. And I also want to turn this into a factory, don't I? And I normally do the tier upgrades for this, but we might as well, while we're at it, just do the crafting way. So we'll turn that into the basic enriching factory, and then we can turn that into the advanced one, that one into the elite, and then that one, if I have the ultimate control circuits, we can turn that one into the ultimate. There we go. Right, so I'm going to need a little bit of power for this, and I have a quantum? Yes, I do. So let's just take that, and I'm going to set it up. Let's get some cables first. So let's grab those, and what I'm going to do is just do a chest for now, and I can get it set up on pipe somewhere. So what I'm planning on doing is having this little room around here, and I definitely need to get on with some building, don't I? Because this is just awful now. Right, so I've got this room around here, and I think this is where I'm going to do all of my ore processing, but I'm also going to use it for the enriching of this other stuff as well. So where should we do it? Because I think I'm going to need quite a lot of room for the ore processing. This definitely isn't enough, but we can worry about that later. So all I'm doing for now is get this thing set up, and I think as well I'm actually going to craft one of these exporters and see if we can export it directly from the QIO system. So we don't need a lot of room. All we need basically is this ultimate enriching factory, give it power and send the items to it and take the items out of it. That is literally it. So where can we do this? Maybe not have these columns in here be a good idea as well, because like having it 3 wide is a bit rubbish. Right, I don't think I can take this out, can I? Because this goes above. Oh, okay. No. Right, tell you what. I'll take this one out, and I might need to actually go back a little bit just so we can have somewhere for the cables and the power. Oh, that's outside as well. Right, this is getting a bit tight now. So let's put that one there. We will have. Actually, should do it at the back. Let's have a little bit of a space. So we'll put that there. We'll have chest at the back, and then we can just have this pulling from that like that. If we didn't take, actually, I probably could have done this in a 3 wide space, couldn't I? Never mind. So yeah, if we put it here, we can put that column back here. All right. So let's put that there. Yeah, we'll do something else out in a minute. So then we'll have a universal cable there, and I don't want this on the mining one, so let's do a new frequency, and we're going to call this enriching, because everything else isn't going to be enriched, it's just these things. So let's do that. So that's on enriching, but that's not going to receive any power, is it? So I need to set that up. Oh, I need another one to send the enriching power as well, do I? So yeah, okay, so let's just get this fully set up before we do that. Actually, no, I'm being daft here. I'm not going to use this for items. I'm only going to use it for the power. So yeah, that's nice and easy, isn't it? So we'll set it to main power for now, and we'll delete that one. Yeah, so that's using that. That will provide power, but I'm not going to use it for anything else. So we can, for the items, that's not going to do anything. And for the power, it's going to eject on that side. That's it. That's all this machine does. Right, so we'll have we're going to need another chest, and that's going to output items from there. So let's go craft an exporter and see if we can get this thing working. I've never crafted one of these big things before, so I have absolutely no idea how they work. I'm hoping you can put like a filter in it, so I can say that it'll just send all of these items, but I need to put them in there as well. So let's craft up the exporter, and I should have everything for this now. It's quite expensive, but I'll do the trick. You go in there. So let's get another chest. Actually, I'm going to need an importer as well, because I'm not using that to send it back. So can we do that as well? No, that's an exporter. Importer, sticky piston. We can do that now. So that's an importer. Let's have that. Right. I hope these work how I think they do. I got the chest tonight, yeah. So let's do something just a bit basic like that. I'll do that output from the top. So items, output on top, eject on. And then if we just upgrade these as well, like that. And that should be the whole setup, really. All I need to do now is put my exporter on this bottom one and the importer on the top, and we should be good to go. So we'll put it on there. We'll set the frequency to Endavar, which is the one for my main QIO. So we'll set that, and then I want to tell it what to export, which is exactly what I'm doing. That's great. Okay, so I'm going to do this with examples of the items because it is just easier that way. So we just need one block of each of those ores, don't we? And then we can get this set up. So I'm going to put all these in here as well. So let's just grab all this. You go in there. Right, we can do the ancient debris separately as well. But with that, if we put that into a crusher first, it triples it, doesn't it? So let's just stick that in there. We'll do that like that for now. You go in there. Right, so that's all that. No, I'll put everything away, haven't I? So I'll have one of you. I will need one of each type as well because I've got the deep slate and the normal one. Deep slate coal I'm not going to do because we're not going to get many of those. And both types of diamond ore as well. And do I have both fluorite? I don't. I only have the deep slate one. Alright, let's go with that for now. Right, so with this, if we just set a new filter, an item stack, deep slate diamond ore, we'll get sent into there, hopefully. And that's already doing it, isn't it? Right, so they're getting processed. And from that we have 42 diamonds. Right, that's great. That's working exactly as I wanted it to. So let's just set this one up as well. So we'll put the importer on there. Set that to this frequency. And that should, in theory, oh, do I need to filter that as well? Import without filter. Yes, that's what I want to do. So anything that goes into this chest will just get imported into the system. So yeah, perfect. So all we need to do now is just set up all of these filters. So we've done deep slate diamond. So let's do diamond next. Redstone, deep slate redstone. Yeah, I've got quite a few of them. So those are going in and straight back into the system. So that is really good. It's going to work really well. So we'll do the fluorite as well. And then we've got the two lapis ones. So you go in there. And you, I think that should be it, shouldn't it? So yeah, there's a lot of fluorite. So it's going to get through all that. And that's going to give us a ton of it. But then we can put all this in here as well. Right, so yeah, got a bit of work to cover that up outside, but I think that'll be pretty good, won't it? So if we just put that, no, I'll come out too far, yeah, haven't I? Yeah, so I think that's pretty tidy setup, isn't it? We could maybe have another little thing next to it, and then we'll have the main ore processing thing on the other side. But yeah, I think that is going to do the trick. Once I get a digital miner set up and import it again, I can just send it straight into my system, and then it can automatically be exported to there. And then processed and sent straight back. So that's great. And I will do something similar with your processing as well, but there's a lot more to do. So actually, yeah, the other thing I want to do is the gold and the quartz, because fortuning this is nowhere near as good as just sending it into an enrichment chamber. So if we have a look at this, if we put it in an enrichment chamber, you get 2 gold dust. So that's the same as getting 18 gold nuggets, which you don't get. You don't get anywhere near that amount. So I've had as low as 5 sometimes. I'm not sure what the chances are, but I don't think it's possible to get 18 from 1, which is what you need to get 2 gold ingots. So I'm just going to stick all that in there as well. So might as well just take all that out, put it in there, and then I'll just go put that into the filter as well, and then that can do all that. But then I want that to auto smelt as well, don't I? So we can maybe set that up later, so it can be imported back, and then we can export it to a smelter somewhere. So let's, what we're doing, exporter, new filter, you go in there. Right, so that's doing that. we're going to get a ton of gold ore out there. Brilliant. Right, so have a look at the gold. That is doing really well. So as I say, we can just set this up and export that later on. We'll have like an auto smelter set up. So happy with how that's gone. So let's just go have a look at the slime chunk, see how that's doing. Oh, that's definitely getting there, isn't it? That's down to deep slate now. Look at all these ores. Yep, that's going to be good. Right, so with that, I think I'm going to leave it there. Made some good progress today. We've got the QIO system set up, everything all stored digitally, and we're even started to auto-process a few things. So, got to be happy with that. And we've got a slime chunk automatically digging out as well, and we're auto-processing the resources. So, definitely happy with how that's gone today. So, if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you again next time. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.